Who here is a bread girly? Raise your hand. Yay! Well, if you love your bread but tired of feeling a little bloated and full anytime you pig out on some bread, well, you got to stop eating the bread that you're eating now and you got to turn to Hero Bread.
That's like me. I am trying to cut carbs before the wedding. You know what I'm saying? And we love bread. We love toast. We love tortillas. We love all of it. But I'm trying to cut it. So we've moved to Hero Bread and they have really good everything.
Yeah, can confirm. I got their tortillas and I finished the whole package in 1 week because I brought one for lunch every single day. And unlike some other low carb breads or alternative tortillas, they don't stay together when you put food in them. And these stayed together really well. And they were fluffy and they tasted good. And the consistency was nice. And
there's 0 to 1 grams of net carbs, 0 sugar, high in fiber. They're delicious and flavorful, something for every craving.
The soft, fluffy experience you love when enjoying a fresh BLT, savory breakfast burrito, or mouth-watering cheeseburger. There's something for everyone with Hero Bread. Don't give up on being a breadhead. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code VIALL at checkout. That's VIALL at HERO.co. That's hero.co. Use code VIALL.
You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Ask Nick edition. I'm your host, Nick. Hope you're all having a great day, great weekend. I'm not sure what day you decided to take the time to listen to this show, but if it's Monday, special props to you guys. Special episode today. We have a special guest to help us with our callers today. The one, the only, the legend herself, Patti Stanger, whatever.
That's okay.
Is it Stanger?
Yes.
Why
There's no R in.
Do people do that get that wrong?
Everybody does it since
No.
I was a kid. Yeah.
Great. And I feel seen now because no one
Okay.
gets my last name. Say
Okay.
my last name.
Viall, isn't it?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
What is it?
No, you got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I pay attention.
Sometimes.
Oh.
Patti, it's nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So do we want to tell people right now?
Sure, tell them.
Patti and I are doing a new show together.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, really, Patti has been so gracious enough to really
Oh.
invite me to do a new show with her because
That's
really,
so sweet. Well, I only had one person in my mind, and you were my top choice. So
because obviously you probably know Patti. No introduction is needed. Millionaire Matchmaker
Correct.
is really where Patti got your.
my
your
start. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
But that's where you really blew
yeah,
up.
Bravo blew me up.
And
yeah.
the show that we're doing,
is on a network that's changing.
we are essentially bringing back that show.
Yeah. It's more of
Ish.
a
It's a matchmaking
It's
show.
a matchmaking show. It's a deeper dive in matchmaking. It's really great advice. They're not just millionaires or celebrities.
Normies.
They're normies. They're civilians.
Normie Matchmaker.
We already started filming.
Should we call it that?
Yeah, Normie Matchmaker. There you go. It's already started filming. It's on the CW network. CW is amazing, and we're very excited.
Fuckboy Island, new home for Fuckboy.
Yes.
F-Boy Island.
F-Boy
is it
and
F-Boy or
F-Girl. And F-Girl. They're making another one.
F-Girl.
Right. So this show's like a deeper dive into problems, breadcrumbing, ghosting, situationship. You want your questions answered. It's going to get answered in the show.
I'm
Really.
excited.
Yeah. It's real
Yeah.
fun. We're having a fun time.
Patti and I are gelling.
Gelling. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, am I your first co-host?
Yes. In history. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted one though. So I don't have to be in the spotlight all the time. I'm producing the show. So it's a lot of work on the back end.
Patti called me up. She's like, I have to have you. It's got to be you. And I'm like, Patti,
I
how can I
did.
say no?
It was cute. You were
And
cute
here
when I
we
called
are.
you.
So I thought it'd be fun to have Patti come on an episode of Ask Nick. Obviously, she's been in the relationship game for quite some time. And I thought it'd be fun to take some calls with her and give some advice. But before we get to our callers, just wanted to catch up with you. You told me an interesting story.
What?
When we were filming the other day.
Okay.
That you came up with the idea for The Bachelor.
Yes.
It is your
True
brainchild.
story. True story.
I was shocked.
Okay, so Telepictures called me in. I had just done a 4-page feature article inside Marie Claire, 2001, with Uma Thurman on the cover, if anybody wants to check that out. And it was my whole mixer situation, which was at the
So like what we now know as the cocktail
right,
parties?
which was at the Bel Air Bar and Grill for anybody who lives there. And we would have these cocktail parties and 25 women would come in and all these men and, they shoot their shit and the resumes and all that. And then CNN came over and they used to do videos of me and it blew up. I got really famous quickly. And Telepictures called me and I had a terrible agent at ICM, which is not in business anymore. And they said, can you come up with 20 ideas? So me and my date coach, David Wygant, came up with this idea of why don't we just do our mixer, but we'll find a millionaire in LA. He lived in Beverly Park, which is the most expensive part of LA. And he had a guest house and he had a main house, helicopter pad, and 25 women were going to live in the house. Okay. And it would zero down to one. And instead of roses, you get jewelry. Like Tiffany. We thought Tiffany is a sponsor. And it all went great. And then my agent didn't like the money. It was Christmas. And he says, I don't like the money. I'm going to hold out for more. And I said, no, worry about the next one. You have to understand, nothing was on the air at the time. All there was Survivor and maybe American Idol. And I knew, like, take the money, it's ABC, yeah. And they were like, no, we're going to wait for more. And he screwed me. And he didn't listen to me, which, by the way, the agent's supposed to listen to you if anybody's doing a reality show. And the next thing I know, the head of Telepictures calls me and says, we're going to go in a different direction. Your agent screwed you. Get a new agent, which I did. Lance Klein at WME. And he was at Endeavor, the biggest one in the business. But I didn't have him then, which really screwed me over. And so I was really upset. And they go, we're going to go in a different direction. They went to Mike Fleiss, who had done Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire, which sounded like a perfect fit. And they changed the name from The Millionaire to The Bachelor. And
so Mike didn't steal your idea.
No, Mike didn't steal it. No.
So how did it go from
Mike
your
got
idea
assigned.
to Mike's
Mike got
idea?
assigned. And then he made a deal because Mike doesn't do package deals. So he made a deal with them without an agent. And that was okay because he had done that show before. I normally could have gone off and sued. I had enough literature and paperwork and enough back and forth. But I knew that if I sue anyone, I'll never work again. So I said, I'll wait for the next one. And then Bravo called me. Backdoored. I had done another video for another show and they didn't want anybody on the show but me. And it was like a self-made, people made $1 million in their business the first year in business.
So basically Mike took your idea.
Right. It's the mixer.
And
it's Cinderella at the ball.
And then maybe added to it and certainly had his
it was
input
always in a house. The first 3 were millionaires. We were casting a little bit. We got ahead of
ourselves. When you say
the first three were semi-millionaires like
For
Firestone.
of The Bachelor?
Firestone and I forget all their names, who they are.
But you're talking about the men who were the first 3 bachelors.
Yeah. And it was true. It could be The Bachelor, it could be The Bachelorette, it could have been anybody, but it was really my mixer, 25 women vying for one guy's attention, which is what you saw on my show.
Yeah.
And it was Cinderella. It comes from Cinderella at the Ball is where it comes from. Back in the old days, in the 50s, my mom did that. When she was a matchmaker when I was growing up in the 60s, my grandmother.
Matchmaking's in your blood.
Yeah, my grandmother was a matchmaker, my mother was a matchmaker. So they did this for you'd have a little soiree. You'd invite the girls over to meet the guy or vice versa. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and that's where it came from. I wasn't, genius move. But, The Bachelor did such a great job. Rob Mills and that whole team, they knew what they were doing. And they had something at a time where we didn't have anything. There was a very dark period in love programming where you could go to a network and they say, we don't want anything. We have the Millionaire Matchmaker. We have The Bachelor. We don't want anything. And now look at us. Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, 90 Day Fiance. The whole world has changed in love. And that's why our show's going to do great because the world has changed. We want information. We want to know how to date. And these kids today, they're lost in sauce.
Yeah, no, it's I'm worried for the future.
They don't even want to get a relationship.
I'm worried for my Valley girl daughter.
But you're going to have she's going to have such amazing parents. And Natalie's amazing that you're going to give her so much love that she's going to recognize the good guy from all those bad guys, which by the way, there's tons of them. So
tons of good guys or bad guys?
Bad guys, because men are not being taught to hunt now. They're taught to be passive aggressive and let the woman come to them.
It's like a mix between that or you get these hyper masculine, toxic guys who have these these bad actor role models who, they've been kind of red pilled, as they say, and things like that. And it seems like it's either
I can name 3 celebrities right now. I won't name, but when you think of them, that is what it is. And so you need balance. Women and men both need balance, but women want to be pursued. They don't want to have to ask for it. And when the woman becomes the aggressor, the man becomes, passive. That's just natural. And so we've got a real hiccup going on in society. Oprah used to talk about it all the time. There's a hiccup. It was starting about 15 years ago, I would say.
I agree with everything you're saying, but like we'll get into it with some of our calls
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah.
But I do think we do have to adjust. We can't just say
It's progress to adjust.
Yeah.
Yes.
we can't just say, oh well, men have to pursue and we have to go back to the
No.
old ways, because obviously the old ways there were problems
Right.
with that too.
Everything
you know?
has problems. There's balance.
But we need to communicate
and
more
I think,
effectively.
I think the number one thing that I learned from your show, and I think you're amazing at, is like you tell women to ask questions and state what you need. Whereas before, we were talking about this before, there was a book called The Rules when I was growing
Mhm.
up. And we were taught by our mothers, who were very passive. Let a man hunt you. You'll know when he likes you. He'll make the call. He'll do this. And you're never to question anything. You're supposed to please, please, please. We're people pleasers.
Mhm.
It's in our DNA. And so we did that. And it didn't work. And there were divorces and people cheated. And now we're in a place like, can we ask questions? And you give women permission to do so. It's like, I'm on a third date. Guy doesn't kiss me. I want to know why. I'm on a third date. Guys like, playing games with me on the phone. Like I don't hear from him for a week. And then he calls me 2 weeks later. I want to know why. Are you dating someone? Why are you not, what is that? And we were never allowed to ask ever. In fact, it was taught to us that if you asked, men are going to like you. They're going to reject you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so that's crazy. That's where's our feelings? Where do our feelings count in the situation?
I feel like I have to say it a million more times, and we say it in this episode, but any guy who is interested in you won't be turned off by you stating an expectation.
Right.
It just won't.
It's all bad. The breadcrumbing, the ghosting, the gaslighting and ghostlighting.
Well, good thing they have us, Patti.
That's right. They have us. And there's not a lot of us. I think like you, me, Matthew Hussey, who's out there. It's not a lot of us. We need more people that are going to help people. Like
I got to say, I've really enjoyed, especially working with some of the men we've worked with on this show.
Oh, yeah. You were great with the men.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
Well, I think, some of the people we've had, they clearly, I appreciate their honesty and their vulnerability with some of the, for different situations, they got some work to do. And I really have enjoyed, I enjoy talking to all the women that call on our show, and we certainly have some men, but I've really enjoyed just trying to connect with some of these guys, because there's so much potential with some of these guys. They clearly have their bugaboos, so to speak. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, it's been rewarding trying to help some of these men.
Well, you can't believe how many, we have really good looking people on the show this season, and I can't believe how insecure some of these men and women are. And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with their looks or the way they dress. It is all within internal messaging.
Childhood.
Internal messaging. Yeah. It's very interesting. And you see it right away, and you're like, they're scarred, and we have to fix the scar and clean it out, clean the wound, and just say like, we're going to fix it.
It's been fun. I'm looking forward to people watching
I think people are going to really like the show, because I think it's different. It's different. We're not gimmicked. We don't have any gimmicks. We have real issues that people go through in everyday life, and I think people are going to really
real
learn.
Dating situations.
They're going to learn, which is
And
what I
you
really
might
wanted.
see a couple of your, favorite celebrities on there.
A couple of them I don't want to say too much, but they're coming. They're coming. But there's going to be some celebrities, a couple of millionaires, a lot of regular people who have businesses. People who've been cheated on, just broken up, divorced.
You'll get to see Patti and I bicker with one another every once in a while. Before we get to our callers, Patti, you have your book.
Yeah.
Become Your Own Matchmaker. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. You can get it right now.
8 easy steps for attracting your perfect match. What are 3 of them?
Well, it's basically it's steps to get you. Most of the girls that love these books, and guys can read it too. But what I've been told, and I went to Netflix and I went to Apple for business meetings. All the girls lined up with the book, and they got engaged and married and had babies, and I was in shock. I almost fell off the chair. That's my mom's recipe, but it's basically a Bible. It's timeless, because it's teaching you, like we were talking about, asking questions. When you want to get serious with the guy, and the guy's not giving you exclusivity, there's the actual words you say, and it never fails.
What are they?
You want to get the ring. It's in the book. You got to read it.
Fine.
And then if you want to get the ring, I give you the actual words too, to get engaged. You're not supposed to go past 9 months without, if you want to get married, can't go past 9 months without negotiations. So how long did it take you to propose to Natalie?
Longer than 9 months.
There you go. So 9 months to 12 months is when
9 months from when? When you what?
From the day you start dating. So
Well,
on the
nowadays, that's a cloudy mess.
well, 9 to 12 is negotiation because
Took 9 months just to get in a relationship with me.
the man statistically knows at 6 months. There's a lot of science behind what we do. Just like the attachment theory, with what your attachment style is. We don't talk about the science enough. We talk about it's breadcrumbing this, but why do we do what we do? And how do we fix it? And what is our brain telling us? So there's a lot of that in the book. There's science, there's my story, how I got to do this. And then there's steps. If you want to get married in a year, there's 8 steps to get married in a year.
Become your own matchmaker. 8 easy steps for attracting your perfect mate.
And there's one chapter called a matchmaking map
By Patti
which teaches you to find out where your mates are.
Stanger.
Yeah. There's one chapter that's great. Mm-hmm.
It's time for the callers.
All righty.
All
So
right,
excited.
let's get to our callers.
Go.
Before we do, don't forget to send those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick, texting office hours, mediations. You know the drill. Anything else, team, household, before we get to callers?
Get to our callers.
All right, let's do it.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
My name's Lainey. I'm 29, and I've been having a lot of issues with my husband since having a baby.
Okay. Well, what are those issues?
Well, I feel like having a baby, honestly, my husband just doesn't like me anymore. I really feel like we have not been connecting.
Okay.
And I keep asking, how are we disconnected? I'm just not feeling cared about or loved. And he just keeps thinking that we don't have any problems at all. And I keep being well, I'm not happy in our relationship right now. And he's just not seeing at all where I'm coming from.
So you're we're not connecting. You hate me. And he's just
Yep.
no, everything's fine.
Yep.
Have you said as much? Have you been
Yes.
I don't think you like me?
Yes.
What does he say?
And then he gets mad. He's that's so unfair. I don't understand how you could think that. And I'm okay, well then can you tell me ways that you feel you're showing me love? Because maybe I'm missing it, And he's I shouldn't have to tell you ways that I'm caring about you. And I was okay, well, I'm just not seeing that. And he's I work. That should be enough. And I'm
That's it? He said that should
not
be enough?
for me. Yes, he literally said that. He said, I work. That should be enough.
Gotcha. Before you had a baby, what was your relationship like?
We're two very different people, but I just feel we were each other's favorite person. We loved spending time together, and we are both more strong personalities, I guess. So we would butt heads on stuff, but I just felt the fact that we loved each other so much, and we loved being together, and I felt had a mutual respect for each other. I felt we were doing great. And we thought it was supposed to be hard for us to have a baby because I have some fertility issues and stuff. And so we didn't think it was going to happen right away. And then I got pregnant right away. Also, at the same time that I got pregnant, my husband lost his job.
Okay.
And so literally the same weekend that we found out I was pregnant, that Monday, he lost his job. And so it was just not great timing. And I felt then he went into kind of a downward spiral where he just was not doing well. And he was out partying all the time and wouldn't come home until 4 or 5 a.m., the same time that I would be waking up for work. I was a teacher.
So he lost his job, got pregnant, and his solution was to hang with the boys?
I guess so. I don't know. He started doing HVAC work right after he got fired from his previous job.
What was his previous job?
He worked for FedEx. He was a delivery driver.
Okay. Did he lose it because they downsized, or did he lose it because he did some shit?
Yeah, he lost it because he got a reckless driving ticket. Not while he was working, but then he got fired from his job, which is understandable. So he got fired, and then I feel I handled it really well, honestly. I was just it's okay, we'll get through it. I was a little stressed, but I was it's okay, we'll be okay. And then he started working doing HVAC, and I felt the guys that he was working with were not doing great. A lot of them were divorced and barely paying their child support, and he would just be hanging out with them all the time. And he worked part-time as well as a bouncer at a bar. And so he would just be out really late, and then he would just keep on partying, and it was really bad. And so I was in therapy I love therapy. I've been like going for like 6 years just because I really like it. And I feel like I want to try to be the best person I can be and all that. So I talked to my therapist about it. And a month before we had our baby, she like worked out an ultimatum for me to give him, like basically like a list of demands, like you're going to do this or that's it. And so I told him, I was like, you need to be sober. Like, and then when you're not at work, you're home. And for the month before we have our baby, so we can try to like rebuild our relationship before adding a baby in. And he did do that. He like agreed to it. And we like started to, I thought, rebuild our relationship. And then we had our baby and he got a job offer like halfway across the country. So I like quit my job and we moved with our 6-week-old baby. And then I just felt like we never got back into like a good rhythm. Now it's just like we're like roommates and he just really
Can I ask you a question? Do you believe
Yes.
he's an addict?
No, he's not. I don't think.
Moving is a really traumatic experience. Losing your job is a really traumatic experience. And I'm not diminishing what you want because you're right. You're right. You should have what you want. You had a baby. God damn it. You know, a baby came through your vagina, right? So it's like, hey,
Right.
hello, where's my push gift? How come you're not being nice to me? But do you believe he has an alcohol problem?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't. I mean, I guess I.
Is he
I don't
drinking much now?
know.
How
Like
much is he drinking
yeah.
now? Yeah, that's a good question. How much is he drinking now?
It's not really the drinking. It's like right now it's like weed.
Okay, well, I mean, a
it's-
substance. Let's talk about substance.
Yeah.
Could be anything. So if he's not drinking, he's doing weed, and he may be overdoing the weed. So is he vaping? Is he smoking a joint? What's he doing?
He's doing both.
That's affecting.
But is he always?
That's affecting his
Is
personality.
he always on something?
What he was for a while, and then he like tried to stop, and then he was just like really mean. So I guess maybe like
So if
you know,
he doesn't
might-
do something, he's not nice to you, right? So his behavior changed when he started. Look, I come from. I'm a daughter of an alcoholic. Okay, so
Mhm.
when he changed, and I've been around the block with this. So his behavior changes, and he does this to
Mhm.
reduce the stress. And if he doesn't do it, he gets nasty blame to you and dismissively avoidant removes himself from the situation without addressing the situation, and then you feel left out.
Right.
Have
No,
you-
That's true.
Okay, so did you go to therapy with him?
I doubt it.
No, he refuses to go. I've like asked. I actually even
Mm.
scheduled like a couples therapy session for us,
Mhm.
like via Zoom. And I was like, could you just like sit in the room? Like you don't even have to participate. And he left the house.
Question: like you presented this ultimatum to him via your
Mhm.
therapist, and it sounds like he responded at least temporarily
Yes.
positively. And then, like, what, a month later, you had the kid,
Yes.
and then a month later, he got a job offer across the country.
Yes. And then we just picked up and moved.
And what conversations when he got the job? I mean, keep in mind, you were 2 months removed from considering leaving him,
Right.
and then you
Yes.
moved with him.
I know. I'm not sure that was my best choice.
I mean, she wants
just,
she
like-
wants to fix it. Like she's
Yeah.
a woman who just had a baby. She's in a very vulnerable place, and he breadcrumbed you. He gave you a month of good and then did a month of bad. And when you're like that, you want to go back to the beginning, and you're always like your mind's looping to go back to the beginning. How do I get back to when he was nice? Maybe I'll do this and maybe I'll do that. And right now, can I be honest with you? And I don't want to be mean to you. I'm going to tell you something that's really important. You need to focus on you and your child. I mean,
Mhm.
that is the hardest thing to do, and say, if you can't be healthy for our child, this isn't working.
What's your support system back
Yeah.
home?
That's a good question.
I feel like my parents are like pretty supportive.
I'm
They
sorry to
just,
make you
like,
cry.
No, it's okay.
I'm really
No,
sorry.
it's not. No, it's not you at all.
I'm going to
It's just,
start
like,
crying
the
now too. Seriously.
It's just that this situation is hard, but I do have like a pretty supportive family. They're like very strictly religious, so they don't know about any of like the substance problems and stuff. Like I've never talked to them about that.
And
So
what I mean,
I
if you
guess they don't
did,
really know, but-
what would they? I mean, the substance aside, you know, you're not receiving the love that you want. You're not being treated the way you want. You're not getting supported the way you want. That being
Right.
said, like, what would they say if you're like, hey, by the way, he smokes
think they
weed and
would-
he drinks?
I think that they would like say I need to leave. Like I
Okay.
do.
Look, you're a very smart, beautiful woman, and you're incredibly strong. You got to pat yourself on the back that you're very strong. No woman could put up with that. I can see like how you want this to work out so badly. And that puts you in a very, that does not put you, in a position of power here. Because if you start focusing on your child, okay, are you working too, by the way?
No, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Do you want to work? Like a part-time job at home? Or?
Honestly, like I love just being able to like be home with my baby and like focus on him. That was the reason I agreed to move
That's
here.
what I felt.
Because that was like the deal was then I would, because I was a teacher before.
And then he's throwing it in your face.
Is he throwing it in your face? Nick wants to know.
You told us, he said, I work, that should be enough.
He did say that.
When did he say that?
But one night he was like super drunk. Like he had hung out with his friend all day, was like golfing. And we were supposed to like go out on a date night. And I had like arranged a babysitter for us and stuff. And so then we like went out and I was just kind of mad at him because he was like basically falling asleep while we were like sitting at this dinner. And I was just like pretty pissed off. So I was just like, how do you feel like you're showing me any love? Like, I'm just really struggling here. And then he was like, I work, that should be enough. So I guess like maybe he like holds it against me in like moments where he's like being his most honest self that like,
it's not holding it against you. I mean, it's not like a resentment. It's more, he's throwing it in your face, he's literally telling, I mean, granted, he sounds like he was saying it when he was drunk. So I think that's more just him acting out. I mean, I don't know if it's his honest feelings or he's just an asshole when he's drunk. I mean, you never really know. It depends on the person or it depends on how much they drank, and things like that. My guess is, in the situation you described, is that you came at him, or at least that's how he felt. And him being in his kind of tired, drunk state, he reacted defensively, and it was more a defense. Now, not in any way to excuse what he was saying. I don't think you can take it as like that's how he really feels. I don't know. Maybe he does.
Yeah.
Did you follow up with him when he was sober about that night?
Yes.
And how'd that go?
I brought it back up later, and then he was like, well, I guess like, I just don't feel like I should have to tell you how I love you. And then he was like, why don't let me ask you, how do you feel like you're showing me love?
And
then I was like able to list all these different ways that I feel like I
well,
so mean.
instead of you guys like debating who is showing each other love and proving it, have you guys sat down and said, listen, I mean, I don't want to fight with you about like feeling loved or being loved, but listen, if I'm not showing you love, how would you like me to show you that love? I
asked that.
Okay.
I did. I was like, how could I love you better? Like,
and
he honestly wasn't asking me it because
no, it's I'm glad
I love him.
I'm glad you still asked the question. What did he say?
He was like, well, I guess I just don't need love the way that you need love.
That might be true. You guys are two different people, but you are the relationship, and
I just feel like it's like going in a circle with him. Like he just tries to like use my same questions like against me, but then I feel like I actually have answers and he just has like no answer.
Do you think there's hope in this relationship?
I guess like that's what I'm struggling with. I feel like I do have like glimmers of hope, like of days where he's like really nice or is like shows me that he cares about me, but it's just like,
this is you're in a very hard place. I'm not going to lie. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but the light might be you have to walk that light alone for your child. You're not unhealthy. He is. And that's where the dividing line comes in. And I hate that you have no support system. And I hate that you have no job. I feel like if you, maybe when the baby goes down, you take a part-time job just to give you some money, like, and give balance and power. Because he's going to use that job over your head like he did.
Right.
Saying, I work, you should just shut up and do what I tell you to do. Self-absorbed person tells you, you know what, I work too, that's all you should need. And that was not the way you got there to get a baby. He wasn't like that before.
Right. Yeah, he really wasn't, which is why it's like
so his personality
so
changed.
Hard now.
Yeah. He needs help.
Yeah,
what's his new job? Does he like his new job? Is he happy? Does he seem like he likes his new job?
No, I think that's like part of the problem too. And I was like, do you want to change jobs? But like we moved our whole lives here. So I think he just feels like he needs to like figure it out and stick it out. It's in sales. So it's like he has like good times and bad times, like
sales, it's a grind.
Hard.
And when you start a sales job, it can take some time to.
Okay, I have a couple questions. One, do you have money in the bank that's just for you? Yes or no?
No.
Do you have somebody who'll give you money if you needed to leave? Like your
I
father,
think
your
so.
mother? Okay. So you have somebody that will advance you money if you leave.
If you moved home with mom and dad,
Mm-hmm.
like, you mentioned they're very religious. Like, do you think you would be going from one controlling situation to another?
Yes. I think that's like what feels like hard about it, because I would be like, at least right now is like the known struggle versus like moving back home would be like an unknown kind of struggle where I just feel like they would be controlling in different ways,
Where'd you live?
And, like-
Where'd you live before you moved to this place with him? Where'd you live before?
In Virginia.
And do you have friends there, a support system in Virginia of people that you could go live with or get some money from or something like that?
I do have friends. I feel like I would feel weird asking my friends for money, but I could ask
Maybe
my
live with them?
parents and not
Live until you get on
maybe,
your
yeah.
feet? Okay.
for like a short term or something before then I like would just go back to work. And then
What
be
did
able
you
to,
what
help
did you do
support myself.
what'd you do for work? You were a teacher, you said, I think?
A teacher. Yes.
Okay.
So you
Well-
have an education, you have the ability to make money, yeah?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
that's
just like
good.
not here.
It's not, yeah. No, listen,
I
like
don't-
Patty said, it's not an ideal situation. You're in a tough situation. There is no way around it.
I just don't want to
Um,
like be done too soon. Like what if I like give in and like he is like a, I did marry him. Like I do love him, like what if
Well,
I
I don't
give
know.
up
I
and-
mean, like this, we're just going off what you're telling us, and you're painting a
Right.
pretty grim picture, and that picture
Yeah.
is I'm married to someone who, I don't know if they're an addict, but they seem to be using a lot of substances a lot, at changing their behavior. They're using it as a coping mechanism. So, to Patty's point, those are not good signs. You can't count on him, to follow through with the things he's going to say. He's not kind to you. When you try to talk to him and you try to connect with him, he absolutely refuses. He's
it's
not
not
giving you
great.
anything to work with.
Why don't you give yourself a time limit? Okay? Why don't you give yourself to the first of the year? Give him 6 months. You're going to go through the holidays, which is stressful enough. And why don't you see how it pans out? If it doesn't pan out, then it's you and your child against him because you can't live like this. And then call a couple friends. If I need to borrow money, I need to live with you. If I do this, don't tell him. Keep this secret. Would you allow me to stay with you for a couple months and explore maybe there's jobs online as an opportunity? Because in 6 months, if you go through Christmas and the holidays and he's not nice to you, you're going to be bottoming him out. And I don't want to see you bottom out. So you plan your exit if it doesn't work. You don't tell him.
Mhm.
You keep it to yourself. You still go to your
Yeah.
therapist.
Mhm.
And then if it doesn't work, you have an exit strategy.
You moved, so new therapist, or are you talking to the same therapist as before remotely?
No, I needed to try to find a new one and I have. I've like gone to like a few different ones and I was
Okay.
just having a hard time like finding a good connection with
Sure.
one. And
Yeah,
then
takes
I
time.
did find a good connection with one and then our insurance changed so I could no longer go and see her. So I need to like try to find another one. Because that's been hard, like to be trying to like navigate this without that since I did have a therapist previously that I saw all the like weekly.
Can you still see that therapist, or because you moved, is that a problem?
No. Yeah, she only like has a license in this like state I used to live in.
Gotcha. And what was her advice to you when you told her that you were moving?
I mean, she just was like, I was like surprisingly calm about it, honestly, even like for myself. Like I was surprised at how calm I was about it. At least for me, when I was pregnant, like basically I felt like nothing fazed me. Like I had to like stay calm and like manage my stress level so that way the baby would be safe. So I just did. I was like,
How is he as a father?
he loves our baby like so much, which is why it's like hard to think about like that dynamic changing. Like he's a great dad. Like, I mean, there are things that we like butt heads on, but he's a great dad. Like,
When he's sober, have you asked him, do you really think that all I deserve is you to support us? Or do you think I don't deserve to feel, loved and appreciated? And do you think I don't deserve to feel complimented or cared for? Because
yeah.
Does he actually think that?
I did ask him that, and his response was, if I want to be loved, I should try being more lovable.
So
it's a great response.
I mean, he's a dick. He's an asshole.
So,
borderline on emotionally abusive.
So the Gottman Institute talks about the the apocalypse of the horsemen. And the one thing they say that breaks up a relationship and a marriage is resentment. Once you get into resentment, you're done. So that is a resentment statement he made back. That may not be true for anybody else to look at that, but it's true for him. So if you put yourself in his position, he's saying you're more lovable. Did you ever say, what does that mean? What does that mean that I need to be more lovable? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, that I should have asked that.
Okay, so go back and ask it. You have 1,000,000 days to ask him that. Say, look, I've thought about what you said, and I really want to be lovable, and I want you to love me. What does that mean to you? And then you'll find out where the resentment came in. There was a point of origin where he took the turn. Whether it was alcohol or drugs, or whether it was just he made a decision in his mind, you can't read his mind until he tells you. And that doesn't mean it's true, by the way, just because he thought it.
Right.
You have to find what's true for you.
I did ask him, like, because he told me, like, he hasn't felt the same way about me, like, since we moved here, because I had a really hard time when we moved here. It was, like, 6 weeks after I just had a baby, and we, like, moved into, like, a living situation at first that was really, really hard for me. And, like, my car was broken. I couldn't even leave our house for a month with, like, a new baby, and I didn't know anybody. It was really hard. And so he said, like, I didn't have, like, a good attitude when we moved here. And so since then, he felt like he hasn't like felt the same way about me. But I just feel like that's
because you struggled with a move.
Hard.
Like that means like he doesn't deal. So he doesn't. How does he? Okay, in the past, how did you resolve conflict when conflict came up?
He like really avoids like and withdraws. It's like his usual go-to.
Yeah, I mean, you're not in a sustainable situation, so he can't keep treating you this way and expect you to put up with it. And it sucks that you are forced to, make these tough decisions. Now, I think Patti's advice was good. I understand that, obviously you just moved, you just had a baby, so you don't want to make any rash decisions. He's not giving you many reasons to hope, and he's not giving you much to work with. But I understand that you want to hold on to hope and you want to try. He is your husband. You have a kid together. There's a lot of reasons to put in the extra effort, maybe even longer than you otherwise would, for those reasons we just mentioned. But to Patti's point, like I would start anticipating what a world would look like with you leaving. Like Patti said, right now, maybe start looking at potential jobs or what it would look like for you to support you and your baby on your own. It's not ideal. It sucks and it's going to be a challenge, but people have done it. People can do it. And you can do it, and it's going to be scary, but you have the education, you're an intelligent person, you have a background in education, you're hireable. And you know what I'm saying? So you can get a job, and it's not going to be fun and ideal. And, you say you have a good support system back at home, whether it's friends or family. But to Patti's point, I would look into those options over the next 6 months. And so that way, if you decide to leave, you won't be starting from ground zero at that point. You'll have a plan in place. And it won't feel as scary. And it sucks that you have to go through this. I'm really sorry. I mean, I truly can't imagine, and I'm, what you're going through. But there are people out there who will appreciate you. Just don't let him make you believe what he says about you.
Yeah.
He's just a dick. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how anyone could say that to their, recently, their wife who just delivered their baby, and all the challenges and your body changes and the emotional challenges and
hormones
the
are going crazy right now,
and it's literally his job to help you overcome all the feelings that you would normally feel about yourself and just all those things, and he's doing literally the opposite.
I'm so sorry you're crying, by the way. But if you have to cry, cry it out. It's toxins coming out of your body. And
or it's just him being a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be crying, So, yeah, you're not wrong for crying.
But you're strong. You'll get through this. You're young and you're strong. And like Nick said, there's a guy out there, if this isn't him, that's going to treat you like a princess, because that's the way you should be treated.
And I would just, when he says mean things, you have the right to, always be calm if you can. It's hard to do, but you always win when you're the more calm of the two. But I would point out that he's mean. Like, stop being mean to me. You're just mean. That's a mean thing to say. Please stop being mean. And almost like, please, just point it out when he's being mean. Don't name call if you can help it. Don't call him an asshole, because then he can accuse you of calling him an asshole.
Use that against me.
Yeah. So just call him mean. You're being mean. if you really feel that way about me, then maybe we shouldn't be together. If you really think that I don't deserve love, I don't want to be with you. And if that's how you really feel about me, then I deserve to have a chance to have someone love me. I am trying my best to connect with you. I am trying my best to give you what you need. And I wish I could be with someone who wants to make me feel love, especially when I'm down or especially when I'm going through. I just had a baby. But if
Right.
you don't want to do that for me, then let me go.
Yeah.
But don't be mean to me. I don't deserve that. And I would
Yeah.
just repeat that message over and over. And in the meantime, like Patti said, I would start looking at your options. At least that way you won't feel as stuck. And the more options you feel like you have and the more secure about not feeling like, oh, what do I do? Am I going to be homeless? Where do I go? Like, is it going to just be me and my
Right.
baby just like, sticking their thumb out the window, hoping to like hit, but like, I'm sure like
Right.
you're imagining a million different things and that's
Right.
terrifying. But the more
Yeah,
you can
like
put
the
a
worst
plan
case.
in place and just maybe talk to some friends back at home, like, hey, listen, I'm going through a lot, but like worst case scenario, like, can I count on you to help me out for a period of time? And then you just start looking at, job opportunities and things like that. Again, not ideal. And then, yeah, maybe you can like rely on mom and dad to support you in the short run, but knowing that you have a plan in place to get a job, that way, if mom and dad are a little controlling and try to enforce their kind of religious views on you and start judging you and, making you feel bad because you married the wrong guy, I don't know what they would do, then you're not kind of stuck with them. Eventually you can get on your own. And again, not going to be easy. Can't imagine what it's like for all the single mothers out there who do such an amazing job of raising their kids on their own and working. And it's tough. But you can do it if you have to. And you will feel good about yourself if you're able to get through that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for your guys' advice. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'm sorry you're going through this. There is no way to cut around it. It sucks. You're in a crappy situation.
Yeah.
But do what you can to find that support system through therapy, find
Yes.
just find someone, and
Mhm.
just you can bounce around till you find someone you connect with. But in the meantime, just stand your ground. Don't let them be mean to you. And please keep
Yeah.
us posted. We'll check in with you and get an update from you. Hopefully,
Okay.
some positive progress, but we'll check in with you in about a month or so.
Okay. Sounds good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp Therapy. Hey, it's important. Take care of your mental health. And I understand it can be expensive and inconvenient. And sometimes it's just hard to find a therapist that, you vibe with. Well, that's where BetterHelp comes in because it's making it super affordable, more convenient than ever before. And because they are working with thousands of new therapists every day, it helps ensure that you can find a therapist that you connect with. So stop putting off taking care of your mental health and dive into BetterHelp because they are helping people get less stress, whatever it is you're worrying about. Maybe it's money, maybe it's your relationships, maybe you just want someone to talk about whatever it is that's bothering you. Relationships, it really doesn't matter what the reason is. It's nice to just decompress, have a non-biased person help, work through some of your issues. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. All you need is a device, a phone, a tablet, a laptop. No problem. BetterHelp will accommodate your needs. And again, if you don't like the therapist they originally assigned you with, no problem. You can literally shop a therapist on BetterHelp because they want you to find the therapist that makes you feel the most comfortable so that you can work through your issues with their mental health professionals. Find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/VIALL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/VIALL.
Ask any mom, including myself. Running a busy household can be pure chaos and stressful for the whole family. Who has what when? What's for dinner? What do we need from the grocery store? Did someone feed the dog? Etc. The mental load can be hard to keep on top of, but there's a way to make it all easier for the mom and the entire family, and that's the Skylight Calendar.
The Skylight Calendar is a smart touchscreen calendar and organizer for all your chores, groceries, to-do lists, and a great way to manage appointments to make sure that they never overlap and they are never missed. It helps keep busy households on track and everyone on the same page so families can get time back for moments that matter. I mean, Natalie and I are constantly on the go. We got River, we got Natalie's mom often there. We have a bunch of things we have to do together, and we have a bunch of things we have to do separately.
And 2 dogs.
Yeah, and 2 dogs who, they have to go to the vet sometimes. We have so much going on, and the Skylight Calendar is helping us keep our life sane.
I'm also a Virgo, so I need to have things organized and
Obviously.
planned and you know what I'm saying? So Skylight Calendar really helps with that.
The Skylight Calendar is available in 2 sizes, 10-inch and 15-inch. We have the 15-inch. The 15-inch size is wall mountable. It shows all family events together in one spot with events color-coded, so you can easily see what everyone has going on each week. The Chore Charts feature helps establish positive habits and routines while allowing the family to easily manage household tasks. Kids love checking off chores and watching their progress bar update. Can't wait to give River some chores, honestly. Can't wait. She's a little too young to do it yet, but
You got a bit of time.
I just can't wait till I can give her some chores and she can knock them off with the Skylight Calendar.
You can also add emojis to make it more fun, which
Yeah.
I think is so cute.
Yeah. As a special limited time offer for our listeners, get 15% off your purchase of a Skylight Calendar when you go to skylightcal.com/FILES. That's SKYLIGHTCAL.com/files. Mother's Day is coming right up, so order today to get 50% off your purchase at skylightcal.com/FILES. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm 23 and I'm worried that the guy I'm seeing might be gay.
Okay. Why do you think that or worry about that? Or why did it even cross your mind?
Well, we've been seeing each other for about 3 months and we have not kissed, held hands, anything like that. And there's also a few other things that kind of give me that indication,
Such as?
whether it's mannerisms
Okay.
or just certain things. It's
So
kind of hard to
he's a-
explain, but it's just that gut feeling.
You said you haven't held hands even?
No, nothing.
Have you tried?
Nothing remotely physical.
Have you tried to hold his hand or kiss him, or are you sitting back and waiting for him to make the first move and he just hasn't, so therefore you've done nothing? Or have you reached for his hand or gone in for a kiss and he's awkwardly pulled away?
No, he's never awkwardly pulled away. I've never tried to make a move. I'm very much the one that sits back and lets the guy make the move.
Because
Okay.
you're a woman. That's why. Hello.
Yeah.
Women don't generally, the women that generally are aggressive, not going to work.
Well, it's not aggressive, but you know.
No, a woman she's dating the guy. She shouldn't make the first move. Who asked who out on the first date?
He asked me out
There you
on the
go.
first date.
What's your love language? Are you physical touch, or I'm assuming even if it's not, you like some affection?
Yeah. It's funny because I'm not a very affectionate person, but this is almost kind of
It's
made
too
me
much.
kind of question that.
Amplifying it.
Okay. Have you checked in with him at all?
I would say I haven't fully checked in. I've kind of hinted at things, kind of led into that conversation, but I've never been abrupt, come out right and said anything. Once again, I don't want to be the one chasing the guy. I feel like that ball should be in their court. I want to be pursued. So that's why I haven't chosen to, one, make a move, or two, even ask those questions.
I hear you on wanting being pursued. I totally get that, right? But at some point, and maybe you have the right to just be like, I don't like the guy. I don't know. Maybe it's just not doing it for you. But it sounds like he's doing other things that you do enjoy. It sounds like you enjoy his company on some level.
She's sexually
he's-
attracted
he's-
to him because
okay.
she wouldn't be there if she wasn't.
I mean, you think he's nice.
But I've started questioning that, and I don't know.
Questioning what? Whether you're physically attracted to him or that he's nice?
No, he's very nice, but it's almost like I've gotten in my head because of this. And I feel like the interest and attraction has started fading. And I can't tell if it's because that initial excitement's gone or if it's just because I'm not interested in him.
Well, I
Probably
mean, if he acts like your pal
your brother.
and he doesn't make you feel sexy and, doesn't, caress you or hold your hand or show affection, I would lose interest too, But I guess my point is there's a difference between wanting to be pursued and checking in and having a conversation with someone that you're building a relationship with. And at some point, it's fair for you to ask questions,
Yeah.
If you've ever listened to the show, listen, if you're confused, it's a signal to yourself that you either need to make a decision, either move on or ask questions,
Agreed. Okay, so first of all, from 1 to 10, how much do you like this guy?
I would have said in the beginning, probably a 9 or a 10. Now we're
Ooh.
probably down to a 4 or 5.
Okay. How
Okay.
much do you want to save the relationship?
right now I'm kind of ready to quit it
Okay,
just
so
because I'm over it.
here's what you say. You say, you know what? It's really nice getting to know you. I really enjoyed your company, but I don't think I'm the girl for you because I really need, hot, passionate sex. And, I love PDA. I love kissing. I love making out. I don't feel this is going anywhere with that. Stop. Don't say another word. Don't fill in the blanks. Let the awkward pause come. He will reveal himself, who he was. And it'll be great because if he reveals himself and he says, like, I'm not like that, or I'm this, I'm not great. He's not my guy. So there's no reason he likes you, but he doesn't see physical behavior is the number one thing in the relationship, which is what you really want. Because you know what was great? There's a learning exercise for you. You learned that you need that when you thought you weren't affectionate, but you really are.
Well,
My
she wants
question
something.
is, if I want to just cut it off, I don't know, am I kind of picking a great guy to the curb
No.
because of this?
No.
No, I mean, what's a
No.
great guy? I mean, sure, maybe
No.
he's generally a
No.
great person who's nice and a positive, part of our society. Great. Doesn't mean he's your guy, and doesn't mean he's great for you. It just means like he's been a cool hang who, maybe he could have been a great friend. But like to Patty's point, there's a difference between not being hypersexual or wanting to be like touched all the time versus like I want someone who I'm dating to hold my hand once in a while, and I want them to like every once in a while throw me up against the wall, make out with me. I don't know, something.
Passion. You want passion.
And you're getting nothing, and you're getting,
you're getting a professor that you go out to dinner with once in a while.
Hell, that
cerebral.
would be hot because it would be wrong. It's like, oh, my teacher.
No, I meant cerebral. You're getting somebody cerebral, which is not exciting sexually. In the beginning, you didn't know him. So he's a mystery. So you're trying to debunk the mystery. That's why people get stuck in these terrible relationships. They can't figure the other person out and they want to debunk the mystery.
Yeah,
but then
that's a good
after a
point.
while, it's like a lot of work to debunk a mystery. It's time consuming. It's exhausting. Your brain is looping.
I think before you just jump ship, I think it would be good practice for you to do the
I
thing
agree.
that Patty suggested. Because all she is suggesting is to have a conversation. And for you to point out to someone who you've been already investing a great deal of time in, and that's your time, that's your energy. That's like, think of it as money you spent. And people we always take for granted our energy and our time because we just think it's weirdly infinite and, abundant, but it's not. But if you equated the time you spent, the energy you invested in this into like actual dollars, you'd be pissed right now.
3 months is a
You'd
long
be like,
time.
I've spent all this money on this relationship. I'm nowhere for it. So before I jump ship,
she might have bought clothes. She might have got her hair done. She might have got her nails done. You invested money. Don't think of it like you didn't invest money. You wanted to look good. So
well, there's that too.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, use just your time and energy before you just jump ship. You deserve at least some clarity so that you can make better investments in the future.
Exactly.
So you need to check in with this guy and say exactly what Patty said. I really have been enjoying hanging out with you. I've really had a lot of fun. I was really excited when we first started dating, but I'm getting the sense from you that like maybe you're just not as into me as I thought I was into you because you don't really show me any affection at all.
Physical affection.
We've never kissed. And you can point it out. Like, I didn't even think that physical touch was like a top love language for mine, but I've realized that it's definitely a love language of mine and I need a little bit. And, like Patty said, say what you want to say and then just let the awkward pause sit in and see what he says. But I think it'd be good practice for you.
Well, I did actually reach out to him and kind of said, I don't know if this is working for me. And his explanation was that he's just taking things slow because we didn't know each other prior.
No.
Which
but
doesn't
all
make
you
sense to
said
me.
is all you said was I don't think this is working for me, or did you get
Tell him why it's not working is what Nick's saying. Did you tell him why it's not working?
I just said I feel like this has become more of a friendship.
That's you getting out of the relationship without getting the explanation.
You're not being
why.
direct enough. You have
just my problem.
You have to just come out and say it. It's not don't be mean. You know,
just be honest.
Just like, hey, I mean, like there's going slow and there's never holding my hand.
There's going slow and never getting that first kiss in 3 months. 3 months. Who has time for 3 months of dating to not get a kiss? That's ridiculous. And you need to tell him that. I will tell this. I did go through something similar a couple years ago, and now this is what happened to me. It's not going to necessarily what happened to you. He went out with me for 3 months, and he really wasn't touching or kissing me. He gave me like one peck once. And finally, I said something, and he didn't live here. So it wasn't like I had an everyday occurrence. It was once a week. He had a girlfriend. He was on Bumble. He had a girlfriend, and he was using me. And so there's a whole other story you may not know about. Everybody is different, but you need the answers. So when you go to the next one, your practice is better at recognizing, is this right or wrong? That's all it is. It's like it's like learning how to ride a bike. You get better and better as you go along. So you don't know why he's doing what he's doing. Don't you want to know why?
Yeah, of course. It's intriguing, to say the least.
I know.
Well, I think Patti made a great point too. I think people often stay in dating situations or relationships that aren't good for them for all the wrong reasons, and the wrong reasons being it's just drama. You know, they're entertained. You become the detective. It's like a murder mystery, or one of the
a dating murder mystery. I love that.
It's but yeah, what you are invested. What keeps you going is the mystery behind why is this person acting the way they are. That's what keeps you invested. Now you're at your breaking point, because you're like, is it really enough? I didn't decide what dating culture was going to be, but it just is what it is. And, Patti is a little more old school. I'm less old school, but still more old school than a lot of people
You're
out there.
very old school for an expert.
You're more old school.
Well, you know what's going on
sure.
with the younger generation. I might know.
I'm just saying,
yeah.
gone are the times where, as a woman, I think you can really just be the demure, passive. I'll just let the man do 100%. I mean, you can find that.
Either.
It's harder to find, and I just think at a minimum, you need to You need to at least communicate what you want early on, and I'm a firm believer in that. It's one thing to want to be pursued. It's one thing to want to have a guy take charge, but I strongly think in the dating culture we have, women at least need to communicate early and upfront about their expectations.
Ask questions.
This is what I'm looking for in a relationship. This is what I want. And again, ask questions when you don't have that.
Totally.
And then give them the chance to respond in kind and take the lead on the expectations that you've set.
And you sent a text, didn't you? Right, to him?
Yes.
No. Questions should be in person to their face after 3 months. That's immature. Immature. You're like, you could ghost him, and I didn't get a good answer, I'm going to ghost. No. Every single time you date someone, that information is critical. It goes into a file in your brain where you're going to use that next time. So you want clean, accurate files to make better decisions so you don't waste 3 months on a guy who didn't kiss you. After 3 dates, if a guy doesn't kiss you, hug you, touch you, next. 3 dates.
Or a check-in.
Or a check-in in 3 days.
Or just be like, what's going on?
Right. 3 dates. Hey, dude, I don't have time to waste. I'm looking to get married. I'm looking to find the one. Like, what is that? You didn't kiss me in 3 days. I find this very alarming and very unusual.
Or you could do it really more passively. You could just use the whole love language conversation. If you're dating someone after 2 or 3 dates and you're not getting something that you want, physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, whatever it is, right? You can put it in any of those categories. And then if you're not getting what you want, you just say, hey, look, what is your love language? And you ask it, and you point, and the reason why I ask is because I'm used to getting this. I respond to this. And when I'm dating, this is really important to me. I like physical touch, and you don't have to go on and say you started by saying, well, I didn't realize physical touch, but in this,
you don't have to tell a story.
Yeah,
There's no backstory.
In this situation, right? To Patti's point, after the 3rd date, you realize he didn't hold my hand. He showed no physical affection.
Right.
He was a bit distant, right? So in that situation, next time, let's say, we played it back, you could just say, hey, listen, I'm just curious, what's your love language? I don't know what he's going to say, but you could say, oh, well, I asked because that's just physical, for me, physical touch, I really like, to hold hands, and I like it when a guy does X, Y, or Z. And just all you have to say.
It has to do that he's not meeting your needs. And that's an important point.
Yeah.
I have
a question.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. So let's say I have this conversation with him. He says, I'm willing to do X, Y, and Z. I want to meet your needs. But at this point, like I said, I'm at a 4 or 5. I'm kind of ready to just jump ship. Is that unfair of me to say, hey, I communicate my needs. He's willing to meet it. But at this point, I'm over it. And maybe that's
Well,
my
in this
fault 'cause I
particular
didn't bring that part of
situation,
this.
yeah, listen, I don't think in this particular situation, I don't know. And I don't think you need to worry about fair. You know, I think it would be good for you to bring this up. And you don't owe this guy anything, you know?
Right.
Like, if you can bring this up to him and then 2 days later decide, you know what, it's just not working for me, you know?
Okay, I will tell you one thing. The kiss tells the whole story. So if the kiss is off, you're not going to want to date him anyway. That's why you don't want to waste 3 months of your time. You want to go to the third date and have a kiss. Okay, and I mean a kiss, French kiss. When a woman, okay, saliva in their mouth intermingles with a man's saliva, he brings his testosterone, you bring your estrogen. That's what makes the passion. You don't have a kiss, you can't feel his anema. You can't feel his masculine energy. So maybe you want to kiss him. Maybe you want to go out one more date and kiss him and see how you feel. If you don't want to do it and you don't see yourself going there next, it's over, done. I had a really nice time with you. I wish you best of luck in your search.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's not your guy.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe you'll surprise us with an update. But this is really more about like what future you needs to do in a similar situation. Because you may not meet another guy who's this passive, but you are, I guarantee, no matter who you meet or whatever guy you date next, he is going to do or not do things that frustrate you. And you're going to either sit back and just wonder and try to be some sort of detective and have these passive aggressive approaches to figuring out what his intentions are, or you could just ask him, or you can have a conversation with him.
Excellent advice.
And you could
Excellent
just
advice.
talk to him and communicate your expectations, and then see if he gives a shit about making you a priority and meeting your expectations.
And let me tell you something. All girls need to do what Nick said, okay? Because we've been trained to people please. That's what our generations have done, our DNA. Your mother probably told you to do that. Sit back, man's supposed to lead. Well, this is a whole world we're living in post-COVID. It doesn't have these hunter men everywhere. So in order to get a hunter, you got to ask. And you're too valuable to waste 3 months on somebody who's not giving you what you want. So it's okay. I think every woman should ask up front. It's okay. You can even say to someone, you know, do you ever want to, what's your plans for the future? Or do you want to get married? I want to get married. Do you want to get married? There's nothing wrong with saying what you want. It's like, I know you're thinking you're going to scare them away. You scare them away, they're not the guy. They're just not the guy, unfortunately.
I agree with that. I think my problem why I didn't bring it up was because I was still feeling out if I was even interested. And then it's like, at what point do you bring that up?
You must have been interested to go out with him for 3 months.
It is never, ever, ever too early to communicate your expectations in a relationship. I mean, you know, maybe not the first 30 seconds of a date, you know, to pour out, be like, just so you know, this is all the things I need. But like on a date, even the first one, if you have an opportunity just to state the things that you enjoy and communicate how you like to receive love, you know, you don't have to be so like tactical about it. You know, you can do it in a more romantic way, or a way that you're just having a conversation, you know.
Soft spoken, you take your octaves down. You just say, hey, I'm having a really good time with you, but I got to be honest with you. My love language is touch. What's yours?
Or you could just tell a story where you just say like, yeah, you know, it's just, I really respond to X, Y, or Z, or I really like this, and this is what I'm looking for. It's never too early to communicate your expectations.
And by the way, you liked him because you wouldn't have spent 3 months with him. You just got to admit that to yourself. So don't put him always in the trash bin. You went through an evolution with him. Now, whether you want to go on one date and test the waters and have that one kiss, which he said he would give you, or you throw him away, that is your next question to yourself. So that's going to be the decision you make.
And just something I want you to think about, I can just tell, your default is to make an excuse for yourself as why now's not the time to ask a question. It makes you
always talk myself out of
it makes you uncomfy, and then you're just like, well, I don't know, maybe. And then you're just very good at like coming up with some sort of excuse. Well, I didn't want to do this, and I didn't want to push him off, and I didn't want to. Like you're just making excuses. When you have a question in your head about something that confuses you about someone you're dating, just find a way to bring it up. You know, either through a direct question or communicating expectation, then you see how they respond with their actions. Nick
is giving you the perfect advice. Let me tell you something. Most guys wouldn't, you go to a guy friend, they're going to tell you not to ask a question. He's giving you the best advice you could ever get. Seriously.
And I've said it before, but no guy is going to be turned off by you communicating what you like and
Ooh,
enjoy.
Good one.
They're not. And if, to Patty's point, if they don't respond the way you want them to, it's just a signal to you that they're not your guy.
Right, which is fine.
It is not because you're crazy or that you did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
No guy who would be interested in you, who is interested in you, is going to be turned off by you by saying, I like this or I like that. You know, to guys who like you, that's information for them to like get you to like them. You know,
Yeah.
guys who are interested want information from you. They want to learn about you. They want to impress you.
And in the beginning, they tell the truth most likely. They're not as invested, so they slip out their truths much quicker scientifically. So men are going to tell you what they're really going through in the beginning. Later on, when they're invested, they're going to fudge it a little because they want you or they don't. You know whichever way street they want to go. But in the beginning, you ask them right away, hey, what's the story like by the third date? They're going to tell you, 90% of them.
All right.
It's interesting. I feel like it's been the opposite for me before, that they fudge it in the beginning and then are more honest later on.
No, they're like, hey, I'm not looking for a relationship right now. Honest.
I have a client yesterday that went on a date. She'd been dating him for about 3-4 times, and he slipped. He never wanted to get married. She wants to get married. I said, next. She goes, why? I really like him. I go, no, you have no time to waste. Bad divorce, never going to get married. He probably will never get married. If he does, okay. But now he doesn't want to get married, and she does. So I said, next. We're going to the next client.
It's not a dare or a challenge.
Right.
It's just their truth.
They weren't a match. Yeah. They weren't a match, That's all it is. But you're trying to find your match. And if you find someone that doesn't like what you like, and it's a deal breaker, that's a deal breaker to me. Affection. Next.
But I do think it'd be good practice for you to practice on this guy who you're not as invested in anymore, and you're kind of already have one foot out the door. I think it would be good practice for you to have the uncomfortable conversation about having a specific conversation around the lack of affection that he is demonstrating in this relationship. And for you to point out to him that despite, him wanting to take it slow, you respond to more affection. And then whether you want to give him a chance or not, it's entirely up to you. But I just think it would be personal development on your part to say that. And maybe you'll be surprised.
Okay.
But you don't owe him anything. You can break up with him. Doesn't matter what he thinks about you afterwards. It does, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really matter what he tells his friends. Oh, she sucked or whatever. She was mean to me. She was abrupt. I don't know. She led me on.
No, he's not going to do that.
Doesn't really matter is my point,
Okay, so you should tell us after what happened. I'm dying to know what he's going to say. In person, face to face, no calls, no texts. Okay? You won't get the reaction. You won't get the reaction you want on a phone or a text. You need to look in his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Good work.
All right. Keep us posted.
Yeah, I'm dying to know.
I will.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Guess how much these sunglasses cost?
$250.
300. I would say 9 million.
9 million. Well, you guys are all way off. They're only $25. Why should you ever pay more than $25 for a pair of stylish, cool glasses? You shouldn't, because God knows you're going to lose them. I've never owned a pair of sunglasses I haven't lost. True story. I have a 100% tracker. The only thing I've ever done 100% on is losing my sunglasses. I am done spending on overpriced sunglasses. Never again. Not with Gooder. No, their stylish sunnies starting at only $25. No slip, no bounce, all polarized, all fun. 50,000 plus 5-star reviews, 1-year warranty, 30-day free returns, 100% carbon neutral company. Why would you get anything else other than a Gooder glasses? I'll be sporting these in the desert this weekend and all summer long. So, if you are tired of wasting your money on glasses you eventually know you're going to lose, just get the Gooder ones because you will look cool while you have them. And then if you lose them, no sweat. Just $25 more. If you want to support the show and try a pair, Gooder is giving the Viall File listeners free shipping. You can go to gooder.com/VIALL and use code VIALL for free shipping. Gooder offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. How can you be anything else but 100% satisfied with sunglasses that cost $25?
And they're stylish. They're so cute.
Again, that's gooder.com/VIALL and use code VIALL for free shipping. Who here likes their wine?
I love wine. As a First Leaf member, I get to discover new wines I'm guaranteed to enjoy. That's because First Leaf gets to know your unique preferences. To start, I answer a few quick questions on their website about what flavors I like, how often I drink wine, and if I prefer red, white, or rosé. Based on my answers, First Leaf curated an amazing selection of wines just for me, and when I rate those wines, my wine selection gets even more tailored.
I feel like Connor loves this. Like, I feel like just a new box of wine shows up and it's like,
My life's going to be easier.
it's going to be easier.
Plus, you just sound smarter when it comes to wine because, I just pick wine by the labels. But with First Leaf, you get a little information about the wine that you're drinking so you can sound like a know-it-all at all those dinner parties.
Or it's a fun way to do it with your friends. Like do like a tasting when you get your box. Because then you can pull out the cards like you're hosting a game show. And you're like, what you are tasting right now on your palate has notes of cherry with tannins of bitterness. Thank
That's
you.
exactly what I was about to say.
yeah.
It makes date night so fun.
And I also sound just like Allie. Join the club today and discover new wines you'll love with First Leaf. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL to get your first box. That's TRYFIRSTLEAF.com/VIALL. Tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL. Storyworth, hey, it's time to give the gift of love and meaning and sentiment, and that's where Storyworth comes in. One of my favorite pastimes growing up was always listening to my dad and mom and my aunts and uncles telling the fun stories about when they were kids and how they used to cause mischief and things like that, or hearing my grandma Phyllis talking about all her escapades. As a young, ambitious, working lady, Phyllis was rocking the business world, and it's always fun to hear about all those amazing stories from the people you love the most. Storyworth makes the writing process a breeze. Each week, Storyworth emails your loved ones a thought-provoking question that you get to pick. Storyworth makes the writing process a breeze. All your loved one needs to do is respond to that email with a story. Long or short, it doesn't matter. You'll be emailed a copy of your loved one's response as they submit it over the course of the year. You'll get to enjoy their retelling of the stories you already know, or be surprised by stories you never heard before. After a year of fun, Storyworth compiles all your loved one's stories and photos into a beautiful keepsake hardcover book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. You can even keep a copy of the book for yourself. Imagine having all these wonderful stories of your favorite grandparents, uncles, aunts, parents. It doesn't matter. Families love Storyworth. That's why it has more than 25,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot, with millions of stories preserved since they were founded over 10 years ago. Give all the moms in your life a unique, heartfelt gift you'll all cherish for years. Storyworth right now. Save $10 off your first purchase when you go to storyworth.com/VIALL. That's storyworth.com/VIALL to save $10 off your first purchase. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Morgan. I'm 28 years old.
How can we help, Morgan?
Okay. I was wondering if I should give my on and off situationship a real shot.
How long is this on and off again situationship lasted for?
It's been 8-9 years.
How old are you again?
28. So I met him when I was 19.
And when you say, should I give him a real shot, what does that
Yeah.
mean? What kind of shots have you given him in the past?
Okay. So in the past, all it's ever been is hooking up. Like that's literally all it was. Like he was straight up my fuck buddy. I was his. He was mine. It never progressed to anything more. There were times when, he would want something more, like when I had a boyfriend or when he had a girlfriend, but the timing was always off. So we never really, we never tried anything. I've never been on a date with him. We never left his fucking apartment. Like that's all it ever was.
Okay. In situationships, I always think there's always one hopeful person and then the other person who just doesn't want to
Yep.
make it a relationship. So who's the hopeful person in this situationship?
Okay, so I'm gonna majority of the time for sure me. When I met him when I was 19, like 19, 20, 21, 22, all of those years, I always wanted something. And we never had a real conversation about our feelings ever. Like it was honestly pretty surface level. I just couldn't be vulnerable with him. And yeah,
But now, I guess I'm less concerned about when you were 19 or 20, that was a
Yeah.
lifetime ago. But like now, who is the hopeful person?
okay, so yeah, what happened was he reached out to me and also this was part that I wrote in about that might be kind of important. So for a year, me and him were both in relationships, and we were cheating on our partners with each other for like a whole year.
Hate
And
that.
then I ended that because I met a new guy. I had
A
a
different
boyfriend who
guy.
I just
Wait,
a
so
different guy. Yes.
so you had a boyfriend
Mhm.
who you were cheating on with situationship,
Correct.
and then
And
somehow met
we
a third guy.
no, sorry. Okay, so then me and the ex broke up.
Okay,
I continued with situationship,
gotcha.
and then I met new guy. Okay.
Sure.
So then I started dating this guy, so I ended things with situationship.
Uh-huh.
So then it's been a year since I last saw situationship. I hadn't talked to him because I was dating this guy for like a year. We just broke up last week, and he situationship texted me 2 months ago out of the blue. I hadn't talked to him for a year, and he wanted to meet up and talk. So I don't know what, I have no idea what he wanted to talk about. But I told him no because I was dating somebody else, and I was kind of like thought I was over him. But then now that I'm single, I just can't decide what to do, if I even want to reach out back to him, if I want to even open that up again.
Gotcha. Hmm. So
do you ever heal between relationships
Yeah,
and take
sure.
time to reassess what you've
Right.
done
Yeah,
or
thank you,
what's
Patty.
happened?
Right.
Yeah.
So usually, honestly, not. And that's why now that I'm single, I'm kind of like, I'm so excited to be single and be alone. So part of me is really like, I don't even want to reach out to him. But then part of me is like, well, what if,
What if
So I'm
what?
totally fine just like being
Okay,
single for a
so
while.
your sexual relationship is based on dopamine, serotonin, and all the hormones like oxytocin, but it's not based on real love or real sensitivity to your needs or his needs. So you hook up, you get a hit, you separate, you go your way. Okay, if he wants to talk, it's probably to get sex. And remember,
Yeah,
I hope I can say this on this podcast, cock smells cock. So he smelled you with somebody else, right? And of course,
What do you mean by cock smells
so
cock?
it's cooch smells cooch, cock smells cock. So when you're dating someone, the ex will come around because they'll smell you with some other man. Did you get that?
Okay.
That's scientifically proven. I didn't make that up. So
Yeah, that's literally
Even
what
through
happened.
yeah. So
the
usually
universe?
it's not the universe. It's more like an energetic switch goes off. Where
But if someone's in like Des Moines, Iowa,
yeah, doesn't
and the
matter.
other person's in
Doesn't matter if they're in
Dubuque,
China. Doesn't matter. Cock smells cock.
But-
they feel the energy. I'll give you an example. I went out with my ex-boyfriend last night. Haven't seen him in 5 years. Okay, and we went to the Dodger game. He had a girlfriend he broke up with a year and a half ago. They haven't talked in months. What do you think happened while we were at the Dodger game? She texts him, "Why haven't I heard from you?" Okay, she smelled me. It just happens. We don't have to figure out why. It happens. So he comes around. I want to talk to you is code really for I want to fuck you. And you know that. I'm not stupid. You know why you do this, but you're getting a serotonin dopamine hit. So every time you go back to someone who's not a serious relationship, you're pushing the real relationship away. And you need time to heal because you're a jumper. We call you jumpers.
I call them monkeys.
Monkey brancher, right?
Yeah.
Monkey brancher. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, like, I think it's so obvious. Like, yeah, he could be texting me to just hook up one last time. So when he texted me 2 months ago, he moved cities for work.
Mhm.
So I was like, and he wanted to meet up in person, and I was like, either he wants to, fuck me one last time before he moves. He wants to get closure for, I don't know, for him to feel better.
Closure. Girls get closure. Men don't get closure. Trust me. Men, he's not going to you and going, "Why did this happen? I've been obsessing over you," because he would have hunted you the whole time you were in the other relationships. Your bar with him is low.
When you ended things with him, when you guys were both being terrible people and cheating on your
Yeah, that's a
partners,
good point.
Yes.
how did how did you end it? Like, what did you say to him?
I told him I met somebody else and this doesn't feel right. Like, I want to be, loyal to him. He totally understood. He's never like been a dick to me.
But he also was okay with that. He also said, "Cool."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like
so
he understood. He said he should
didn't
probably
hunt
be
you.
doing the same thing.
He also, he also didn't like have a problem with it.
Right. Do you get what Nick's saying to you? He's
He
not.
should have
He's
had a
not.
problem with it.
There's no good here. There's no good here. Like he didn't hunt you and say, "You're the woman of my dreams. I don't want you to be with anyone else." He didn't
why
say
didn't
that.
he didn't get
Sure.
excited and been like, "Oh my god!" Like he also like, why didn't he ask you, like, not condoning the cheating, but like, why didn't either of you, while you were cheating with each other on your partners, why didn't you guys talk about leaving your partners for each other?
Good question.
Instead, you just kept fucking.
Why
Because we never had that, and he's still situationship is still with his girlfriend, as far as I know. But we never had that conversation because, like, for me, like, I never thought he wanted it, because if he wanted to, he would. Like, I knew that, and it's like, it's been all of these years. You had your chance, like, so it just.
Wait, you slow the roll. You said he's still with the girlfriend?
Yeah.
As far as she knows.
So why
As
would
far
he
as I
call
know.
you all of a sudden to say you're the one I figured out after 8 years?
Well, she doesn't know why he called. She's making assumptions.
Yeah,
All
I
she
don't know.
knows, correct me if I'm wrong, is that he reached out randomly and said he wanted to see you.
But he's still got a girlfriend.
Correct.
But she's guessing that she's not.
Oh, she's not sure.
She didn't
Okay.
confirm.
Well,
The-
I saw like pictures of them.
No,
like
she went on
a month ago
Instagram.
together,
Yeah.
so-
Well, the
like-
problem is that you also didn't ask either.
No, we never brought up like this.
When he said he wanted to see you, did you text him back and say why? Why? What's up?
You fucking loved it when you got that message from him.
God, Nick, I've never
Yeah.
seen your personality
gosh.
like that.
You were just like,
If you can pick
God.
up, like me and him both have like definitely ego problems.
no, I
like
picked up.
we're both so stubborn,
Yeah.
and we're not going to admit like
Yeah, it's a challenge.
we're
It's exciting.
Yeah.
You're cheating.
So,
He likes you.
When he texted me, I had the chance to reject him. He's rejected me before. I mean, it's always been just like
One-upping
constant cycle of
each
this,
other.
No, it was,
Yeah.
to Patty's point, it was
okay.
a dopamine hit. You got a text from him. It made you feel good. You're like,
Yeah.
he still thinks about me. I still got it. Like
I'm
it
still
gave you that.
hot.
It gave you that fix. You gave 0 fucks about his girlfriend.
There's
Yeah.
karma in that. Don't forget karma. How you get a guy is how you lose a guy.
I mean, but how do you feel about the fact that you cheated? I mean, like, do you feel guilty about it? Is it more like whatever, it happened, but like, I didn't end up with the guy anyway, so like no harm, no foul. Like, how do you feel
Right.
about yourself and your character as a result of you cheating?
Okay, so the boyfriend that I cheated on, and I know this doesn't make it right, but
It doesn't.
he had cheated on me
Yeah.
before. And so for me, it was kind of like, well,
Yeah, but how did you feel about, okay, but how did you feel about her? Fine. It still doesn't make it okay. But either
her as
way,
in his girlfriend.
yeah.
you didn't give a fuck.
You didn't feel guilty
I
at
mean,
all?
That's no, I felt guilty, but I was like, that's his decision. Like we were both doing the same thing.
No.
No, hold on. You're right. It was his decision. You're right. But I'm curious about your decision. He can, it was his decision to cheat on his girlfriend, and you are not responsible for that. But it was your decision to let him cheat on his girlfriend with you.
That's correct.
Yeah, and moving forward, let me make this clear. I would never continue that. Like if I hypothetically, if I were to meet up with him again,
I mean, I
wouldn't get into that again.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you
Ooh.
because you took his call. It felt good, and you didn't say, "Do you still have a girlfriend?" Because I don't want any part of what we did to other people in the past. So like, given our history, like, there's nothing for us to talk about or meet up if you still have a girlfriend.
Right. Well, I said that without saying the girlfriend part. I said, there's really no point of us meeting up. Nothing's going to change.
That's not the same thing.
That isn't the same thing.
The same
Okay.
because you're not making her the focus. The focus is you
No,
two.
I didn't.
How would
bring
you,
her up
okay,
at all.
how would you like it if you were in her shoes? And yet the
Oh my
reverse
gosh,
was
I've
happening.
been in her shoes, so I get it, but
What? There's no but. You don't cheat. Cheating is wrong.
Yeah.
Cheating is wrong.
And
And if
that's-
you cheat, someone's going to cheat on you. Universe can teach you a lesson about it. What you give is what you get.
Yeah.
You need to think about that. As far as he goes, all you had to do is say, what do you want when he texted you?
right.
And if he starts flirting, it's sex. Still with your girlfriend? Yup. Want to get back to where we were. We had our thing. which is going to prevent you from future relationships. I'll bet you all the other relationships broke up, especially the cheating one, because of that. Your mind cannot be in two places.
Yeah, he's just like
You're not
I mean,
present.
you guys have just been using each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, not just for even sex, but just for validation, for attention, for drama, for entertainment. You know,
Filling your love tank up.
yeah.
And because it's been going on for so long, you know, like I've always thought, I don't know, I've always been like, well, I'm in love with him this whole time. And I felt like I finally moved on.
I mean, I think the length of time, that you guys may be hanging out, all that is something that you guys use as an excuse to justify bad behavior.
Right. Have you ever actually gone on dates with him?
No, she said she didn't. She's
Right?
never been on a single
No.
date.
Never.
So this is a dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin hit.
You're giving yourself permission to do shitty things because you've been like, well, but we have such a history, and then somehow you've convinced yourself it makes those shitty things okay because of your history.
Your validation.
You know,
yeah.
and things like that. That like it doesn't really count because somehow it's different for the two of you, or all this whatever bullshit you tell yourself.
Yeah, so true.
This is not the Notebook. Let's take the Notebook thoughts out of your mind.
Or
This
it is a
not the
Notebook because they're shitty.
No, but they end up together in the Notebook. This is not the Notebook. You're not going to end up with the guy who
Right,
builds
yeah.
the house in the Notebook. He's not doing any grand gesture to woo you. Okay. This is a guy that's
Never.
using you, and you're now using him. You both are using each other, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And there is a code of conduct that's unethical here because you're hurting other people in the process, and then you're hurting yourself.
I get that. That makes total sense.
No good will come from this situation.
My advice to you is you need to break up. You need to almost have like a ceremony and kind of
Yeah, put it into
emotionally
words.
break up with him. It does not need to involve him. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to
Yeah,
call him and
no.
meet up with him and have a talk with him. This is like you having a
No.
conversation with yourself and having an honest conversation, which we clearly have been honest with you about how we feel about it, that this person doesn't serve me well.
Burn the
This
sheets.
person
burn
has-
the sheets you
Yeah,
screwed on.
you got to take accountability for like the choices you've made, but you have to also equate him in that equation that he doesn't bring you up. He brings you down. He is a catalyst for some of these poor decisions that you have made. And you have to decide for yourself whether you want to be that person. Granted, he is, you know, you can cut him off and still continue to make shitty decisions that, you know, hurt yourself and hurt other people. But if you truly don't want to be that person, if you truly regret your choices, then you need to kind of almost use this breakup with this situationship and this guy and completely cut him off and say no to him and say, no matter what happens, this is not someone who cares about me, cares about my well-being, who loves me,
Correct.
who gives a shit about me, who's made me a priority. He doesn't do any of that. All he has done has like give me a sugar fix, you know, a validation hit, filled my ego, made me feel like I was special when I needed to feel special from time and, you know, here and there. But I don't want to be that person, and I need to like I'm breaking up with this situationship. I got a question also. Your next boyfriend that you started dating after whatever.
Yes.
Did you ever tell that boyfriend about him or the fact that you cheated on a past partner? No, right? Yeah, you kept him a
No
secret.
way. He would have like
Lost his
No.
mind.
Well, that's I mean,
couldn't
so
have-
just
he would have just been like
but think about
he
that.
wouldn't have trusted me.
Think about that.
Did he know you were cheating?
The
Did he sense it? When you were sleeping?
the boyfriend that I cheated on.
Yeah. Did he sense
no,
it?
I'm more concerned about the guy she dated afterwards.
Oh, that one. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the guy I dated after my most recent ex, no, I never told
He
him
never
about
knew that
any
guy
of this.
existed.
Wow.
So that's a huge problem. So you got
I
in
don't
this you got in
ever-
this new relationship,
Not honest.
right?
No,
And you
I
completely
have not
avoid.
been able to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you hanging on to this situationship it poisons all your relationships. This past relationship you just got out of never had a chance from the beginning.
I completely agree with y'all, and that's the conclusion I came to. Like when he sent me that text, I was like, no, like I deserve better. And then I told like my friends that know all about this, and they were like, well, I don't know. Like they were like boosting me up, like, okay, like maybe this is it. Maybe he's the one. Maybe this like the stars are aligned now. And then that got in my head, you know, because like that's what I thought deep down. So then that's where I,
No stars are aligning here.
Listen, I mean, I'm not saying get new friends, but friends often give terrible relationship advice because friends just love drama, and it's just this is a drama
They're
story.
making it like it's a rom-com, and it's not.
And if you have success with him,
It's a
then it can
horror
justify
movie.
their answers and their choices, and if you can prove that you're the exception to the rule, and then maybe they'll be the exception to the rule. This is why you get. It's like why your friends tell you buy a boat.
Right. Exactly.
Like you know the answers. So you're how old now?
28.
28. You gotta stop making excuses for yourself. You're young, but you're not getting any younger.
No.
And you are wasting your best years on a guy who's never ever really given a shit about you. And he has poisoned every relationship you've ever had.
Yeah.
And your last relationship never stood a chance because you kept him a secret, and you kept him a secret for a reason. And I understand,
I've always kept him a secret.
You need to come, like the next relationship that you have, you shouldn't get into until you can accept your choices in the past. Take accountability for the role that you played in it. Say goodbye to this situationship. And then when you meet some guy you actually like and get excited about, and when you have that kind of heart-to-heart conversation about past relationships and things like that, and every dating situation eventually gets to that question, like, have you ever cheated? You have to say yes. And you have to, hopefully you have done the work up into that point, and you can genuinely say, hey, listen, I'm just going to be real with you. Like, I've made some poor choices in the past. I'm ashamed of it. I've done a lot of work on myself. I can, if you want to know, I can explain to you why I made some of these choices, not to justify it, but like, just so you know that like, I understand why I made some of these poor choices. This is the work I've done on myself. And while I will understand if that gives you some reservations, like I just want to start this relationship with honesty and hope that you can accept me for who I am and accept my past. And hopefully, and I don't know if the next person you date has cheated on anyone, but certainly they have made mistakes. They have hurt people they claim to love in the past, right? Like everyone has. And hopefully that new relationship will start with honesty, and you can go from there. But right now, you're a liar. And every relationship you start now is based off of lies and deceit, and it just never has a chance. So like you really need to take a pause on your love life, do some work on yourself, do some real deep soul searching. Your friends are fine, but maybe you need like a mentor or someone who you really look up to, who, can give you some direct feedback like we're giving you, and hold you accountable and challenge you to do the work, because you're not getting any younger and your choices matter. And if you keep down this path, you're going to wake up one day and be alone and 40.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Y'all are so right. And yeah, I've just never been able to be honest in a relationship. And that's what I want. Like, I want to be able to be like, yeah, I cheated, I did this, and not feel judged and not feel
you're gonna get judged, and you deserve to get judged. Like that's life. But do the work. A lot of people have cheated. It's sad. It's a sad reality, but you're not the only one. You are among friends. But there are some people who make this mistake and truly like wake up and feel disgusted with themselves, and truly feel regret, and go out of their way to do the work, and truly do that soul searching to say, I don't know why I did that. I mean, I can certainly find my reasons, but I really want to understand why I made these decisions, because I made these decisions and I made them for a reason. And there are other people who make excuses and justify it and be like, well, like they cheated on me, or we weren't really getting along, and blah, blah, blah. And those are the people who will always cheat. They will always find a reason, because, then they'll meet someone else, new, and they'll get excited and be like, I'll never cheat on this person. But that shit will happen, and they'll be, put in a compromising situation. Instead of choosing to do the right thing and deal with their shit, they'll just do the weak character thing and make the same choices. So, it's really up to you.
Yeah. And I don't want to be like that. So no, I agree. I need to do it. I need to do all of that stuff y'all are saying.
So I would, per usual, block him, delete his number, block him on social media. Always delete the number after you block, but block first.
Okay.
Delete it, block him on social media. Don't give him any access to you. And then have that, not to sound cheesy, ceremony of, whatever thing you have of him, any memorabilia, letters, pictures, anything you have of them, burn it.
Right.
And kind of tell yourself, this is the beginning of my healing process. This is the beginning of me being the type of person that I want to be. This is me trying to be. I am now preparing myself for my future person. Do you want to get married?
Yes.
Do you want to have kids?
Yes.
Great. I love that you have that goal. Well, now you have to think about that person, whoever it is. They're just a symbol. And right now you are beginning that journey to prepare yourself for that person. And you are preparing yourself so that they are going to be so excited and so appreciative of the work that you are doing now. And despite your mistakes, you're going to be able, when you meet that right person, hold yourself accountable, be honest, and show them the work that you did and hope that they can accept and love you for that. And if you actually are genuine about that and you do the work that you do will attract the right person. You're making all these choices, and I definitely believe in that type of stuff that, you are, by your choices, you are attracting a certain type of person. And the way you treat yourself and the way you treat others is attracting a certain type of person. And if you change that behavior, you're going to start attracting different people.
Right.
Because you won't allow these type of toxic people, and you won't be so susceptible to this toxic stimulation that you are now.
Yeah.
You'll do some work, and then you will recognize these people, and you will recognize their intentions, and you'll say, you know what? I know what this is about. I'm going to say no to this. I'm going to look for some more healthy type of love and things like that.
You don't want bad karma. I mean, what you do to others will come back to you. You want to be like a good person and find true love and ride off into the sunset. And in order to do that, you can't cheat on mates.
No.
That's part of that should be number one. Cheating is not allowed. And I'm sorry for what I've done. And ask the universe to, to forgive you and send a message mentally to the person that you hurt, the woman.
And I think you said something key too, like, I don't want to be judged. And I think that's inevitable. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay.
Yeah.
You're never going to be in a real relationship until that person that you want to be in a relationship with knows who you are, both
And
your
that's
good and your
vulnerable.
bad.
That's being vulnerable.
And you being honest about the mistakes you've had.
Yeah.
And until
just
you
have
can
an
do that,
issue
you're not in a
with
relationship. Yeah.
Look, I've dated people, they've cheated. I've never cheated, but I've dated people that cheat, and I forgave them. And I was like, not on me. Like in the past, like I'm dating someone, they say, oh, I cheated my wife. We didn't have sex for 2 years. Okay, that you weren't. I'm not in your situation, but I'm not. I don't. At first, I thought, okay, is he going to cheat on me? And he said he never did.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is like what he did in his past, he felt he was sorry for. He said, I am so sorry what I did on my wife, and he really owned that sorry. So if you love someone and you said to him, I made a mistake and I cheated on my mate at the time, and I made a huge mistake, and I know it. The new person's not going to judge you for that. What you're in is the new person's relationship. And I would never cheat on you. There you go. End of story.
Right.
But if you can't show who you truly are, as Mick says, you're not going to have love, because they won't feel comfortable with you because they're showing you who they are. It's a mirror that you face when you're in a relationship. There's a lot of work to be done.
You got to let someone judge you and then accept you.
And you have to find out, why are you cheating? What is the reason you're cheating? Because that is the common denominator. That is the thread through all these relationships. What's the benefits? Why am I doing it? Do I always need a backup no matter what relationship I'm in? A lot of people like backup. This goes wrong, I got the backup. You can't live like that. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Eventually, your mate will leave you. You're just lucky that guy didn't leave you.
Which one?
Well, the last relationship when you broke up, who left who?
Okay, so the last relationship, I didn't cheat on him. He's the one I left the situationship for.
Yeah.
So yeah, we dated on and off for a year, and I broke up with him.
See all these on again, off again. There's nothing.
Always.
Right. No, there's something going on there. So
Well, because she's never.
right underneath
These
the hood
people
of the
don't
car.
even know who she's dating, and she's not
I
fully
think she
giving
knows who
herself,
she
and
is.
she pulls herself back because, again, you're just afraid of not being accepted by anyone, so you don't
And-
show anyone who you are, and then you.
By the way, who are you? Do you even know who you are and what you really want and why you do what you do? So you got a journey to go on of yourself. Love comes from yourself first before anyone else. I don't think you love yourself enough. That's the starting point. And that might be being alone for a while.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. I mean, I definitely need to be alone for a while.
I mean, you're an attractive girl. You're going to get
haven't.
guys, but you may not. It's a good idea to say, I'm not dating right now. I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
I'm finding out who I am.
That's my plan. That's definitely my plan.
Right. And don't sleep with people. That's another
No.
thing. Close the legs.
I don't have anybody in my eyesight that I'm, have my eye on. So, and I don't want
I mean,
to,
you
so.
get an itch down there, use a vibrator. It'll protect yourself from
Or see a
future
doctor.
relationships. Well, no, I mean, like, use a vibrator so that you take the edge off
I'm just
without getting
saying,
another
if it
person
itches.
emotionally involved in your life when you're not ready for a relationship. That's what vibrators are for. The in-between moments. And sometimes with the guy. I mean, sex toys are great. So, you know what I'm saying? But use that.
Yeah.
Don't be searching for anybody. And when they come in, say, I'm not ready right now. I'm not in a good place.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Take numbers, take reservations. Make them wait. They're available when you're single. That was meant to be.
Yeah. I agree. I think y'all are 100% right. I agree with everything that y'all said.
Well, thank you for being honest with us.
Thank you.
Not
Yes,
easy to
thank
do. I know we
you.
were hard on you, but listen,
No, I need to hear it.
your choices matter, and your choices are leading you down a path that, like I said, one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, holy shit, where did all those years go? I fucked up. My best years are behind me, and it's my fault.
Let me tell you something. Your 30s are your best, not your 20s. Dirty 30s are the best. If I could turn back to any place in time, it would be then. So get ready. You want to be ready for it. Don't waste it, as Nick said.
Yeah.
That's when you get the men, the money, sex is great. It's all good. You look fabulous. It's the perfect time. So we want to use this time to find the perfect love.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, we're gonna check in on you.
Good luck.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye, Nick.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, Patty, it's been
Hi,
a pleasure
Nick.
as always.
Thanks, Nick, for having me.
Don't forget to send those questions at AskNick@theviallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick. Texting office hours, you know the drill. Subscribe, tell your friends. Like I said before, check out Patty's book, Become Your Own Matchmaker. And also the fragrance, Patty.
Oh, it's called Matchmaker. You can find it on my Instagram, on my bio, or go to ioflove.com.
There you go. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.